Welcome. My name is Bernard van der Aura. I am, since the start of this month, Business Development Manager for Micro Focus and other brands which are not relevant for today. And yes, there is a new version of Data Protector that was just announced during the Micro Focus Universe earlier this month. And we wanted to take the opportunity to have a refresh and maybe also to let you discover new things around the product. So the agenda for today is, I would say, easy. If my slide does not want to change, great. Just a second. How comes I cannot? Okay. So here is the agenda. So we will have a small intro from Rémi Champenois, and then we will go into the subject with Chris Nauch about the new features, and maybe for you it's going to be a bit more than just the new features, but you will discover how it evolved since the HPE time, I would say. And also Juan Niker will talk to us about the channel strategy and how we can help you, and Micro Focus can help you to, I would say, sell Data Protector in the market. So I will maybe give the word to Rémi.
Yes, thank you, Bernard. I think that Christopher can start also to share his screen and the presentation.
Okay, so I stop mine. Okay.
Exactly. So my name is Rémi Champenois, and for the one who don't know me, I am the sales rep for the French, the Belgium, and the Luxembourg market. So you will see this webinar is quite an important one. We are very happy to announce great features, key features, major investment from Micro Focus. It's one of the most important release for Data Protector in the last year. So we really want to insist on this. So as Bernard mentioned, Christopher will be discussing the new version of Data Protector, 11.01 and Data Protector for cloud workloads. We will also present you the channel strategy and initiatives. We are very lucky to have Juan, who is preparing a lot of content, great initiatives for our partners. And we have the Q&A at the end, but of course, if you have any specific questions, we are always available after the webinar anytime. So really don't hesitate. I think that with this new version, what we really want to underline today and the challenge of this new version was to extend the capabilities of Data Protector to ensure security and protection of company data when we see that IT operations are more and more moving their applications and data to the cloud and to a virtualized environment. And it's true that we see every day, and I see it with my customers, that we see a strong move to cloud. I'm sure that you see it as well. And we will try to address today the kind of question like how to manage this always increasing data with a limited budget, how to protect this data at local or remote sites. So in case you don't know it, Data Protector is a solution that has been on the market for more than 30 years now. And this new version will provide this kind of protection for those applications and data running in the cloud. We will have as well a few functionalities for more traditional settings. So what I mean is that all this in order, of course, for our customer to manage rapid data growth, maintain flexibility, and provide cost control. And we see that our customers use more and more cloud applications. They use more and more this kind of cloud and storage applications. And the thing is that the threat level of corporate data in such environment is also increasing. So with this new offering, we with this new offering, we want to provide data protection features across, you will see a large portfolio of public cloud providers, virtual environment, and containers. And what we see as well with our customers is that we continuously see positive feedback of digital transformation. And as our customers are more and more moving workloads to the cloud, they are more and more using cloud-based applications and many platforms to meet these operational needs. We decided to put this strong investment and deliver this new version of DP. So with this new product offering, we believe that Data Protector now offers one of the most comprehensive backup solutions available in the market. We really want to insist as well. It's for us and for Micro Focus, it's a strong demonstration of course, our commitment to customer, to partners, but also Micro Focus investment and confidence in Data Protector backup and restore software solutions. I was just checking a report of the usage of data protection on the market, and we see that data protection is booming. By 2040, the forecasts are huge, so it's a trend that will keep increasing. And for this reason, we don't only invest in the product, but Micro Focus recently invested as well in the teams. We created a dedicated team. So I think it's important to underline this as well. A dedicated team to be fully allocated to Data Protector with dedicated sales rep like myself, with dedicated channel managers, marketing managers, and technical managers. So we know, of course, that today protection of data across traditional contemporary environment in an integrated and consolidated platform is more and more important. And this is why we released this new version in order to get really an integrated, comprehensive backup solution, of course, designed to save cost, time, and resource with this increase of data protection and in the environment that we are seeing today with hybrid cloud management, etc. And I don't want to spoil too much either on Christopher's presentation, but you will see this kind of feature like data backup support for Microsoft 365. You will see protection for cloud workloads. We have as well protection for storage providers like Nutanix, SUSE, a broad support for virtual workloads on hypervisor platform like Citrix, Oracle, Nutanix, etc. We provide as well now protection for virtualized database applications like application data configurations. Of course, all this integrated with Data Protector to provide a single backup destination and of course to be able to leverage additional management backup capabilities. And the last but not least is agentless solutions with support for full and incremental application backup. So just to resume, overall today, we can say that Data Protector with these cloud workloads has for objective to provide a stable, agentless backup and snapshot management suite for, at the same time, virtual machines, for containers, for applications working on premise, in the cloud, and storage providers. So today, with Data Protector, we provide a data protection software solution to help customers remain operational and ensure data availability, restorability whenever is needed. And this new version is really critical and is bringing a lot of new things. And now, just before I pass on to Christopher, I wanted as well to mention that we have today a Data Protector premium campaign to give our customers and partners the possibility to reduce their OPEX and support amount for the following year and beneficiate at the same time of DP Premium. So if you want to know more, feel free to contact me. If you don't have my contact, you will receive it by the end of the webinar. It's a critical campaign, and we highly recommend to our customers, to our partners, to check if you are eligible. So thank you, and Chris will present you now in detail this new version. So Chris, your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Remy. Thank you for a very, very excellent introduction. Morning, guys. My name's Chris Nouch. I am based, as you can probably tell, in the UK. I work in pre-sales, so I cover UK, Ireland. I also cover some of EMEA and a little bit of the US as well when needed. I've worked with Data Protector for coming up to what feels like 20 years now, I think it is. So I started off as a customer, then worked for HP, HPE, then Micro Focus. I worked as a solution architect and then into pre-sales, and I've been doing this current role for about 8 years now. So as Remy said, today we're going to talk to you about what's new in 11.01. I will try cover off, because somebody mentioned before when we were starting the call that they've not seen the product since the kind of HPE days. So I will try and kind of backfill if needed. If there's anything you see today that you feel you want more information on or more history on, because some of this stuff is based on things that have already happened in the product, please feel free to reach out to myself or Juan or Remy. We're more than happy to answer any questions that come out of this. There is a lot to get through. It's a packed release. It's probably one of the most packed releases we've had. There's a lot to talk about, so I'll try not go over. I've got an hour, I think, to get through all this, so I'll try not fill the whole hour if I can. So we've got time for questions after. You'll see on the screen there, the first thing to point out is that the highlighted LTS, that stands for long-term support, and it's something we'll discuss later on. So I'll go through the details of that. It's something new in this version of DP, but don't worry about it too much for now. What we tend to do when we release a version of DP is we kind of rank it into different areas of technology, of usability, etc. So these are the things that are new in this version. So we've got any tools and apps update. Security is something that every version of DP has updated security, because new security protocols come out. We're a very secure product. In terms of ransomware and things like that, we're very hot on stuff like that. Something we've worked on, again, going back in version 10.50, I think it was. We actually went for common criteria certification, which is a set of protocols that we have to pass to make sure that the product's secure. We did that, so we're keeping on top of that now, ensuring that the products are secure. So you'll see a slide that just mentions security updates, but it's really just to get the point across that, if you've got any customers out there that are using DP, if they're not on the latest version, it's always a really good idea to recommend they go to the latest version because of the security updates. Things like usability, we'll cover that in more detail. The infrastructure stuff, platform and integrations, we're always looking at certifying new things. You'll see the list later on of the stuff we've certified recently. It's quite a big list. And like I say, LTS, we'll cover that later on as well. So we'll dive straight in. We'll look at some of the usability stuff. So this is a big one for us. We've had a form of multi-tenancy in the product for quite some time, which allows customers to designate certain machines to be backed up by certain groups of people or groups of individuals. The problem has been in the past that with the DP, the way the DP GUI was, that you had the ability to see not only the machines you were allocated to use, but other machines as well. What we've done this time, so this is new in 11.01. As you can see highlighted in blue, it's a technology demo. It's not a fully working product right now. In the next release of DP, it will hopefully be the fully working product, the phase 2, as it says there. So it's not supported currently. It's really just for customers to get a feel, for customers to start to play with it, to understand it, and what it allows you to do. So it allows you to, and I'll go through each stage, is set up a set of responsibilities. You can add users, you can add them to groups, and then you can give them groups different responsibilities. So, for example, if you've got a group of Oracle admins and they want to be able to just access and see a number of Oracle servers so they can do their own backups or do their own restores, you're able to do that. And that's all that they will see when they go in. And there'll be other things like they can manage tape libraries. They'll be allowed to, back up to certain devices. It's something that's turned on manually by the customer. So it's not something that's automatically switched on, and I'll just talk you through that. So in the first instance, when it's turned on, like I say, you'll see users, groups, and role management. And it's all handled by the new web GUI. So something, again, that's changed since the HP days is we've moved away from the traditional GUI and we're moving more towards a web-based GUI. So in this instance, you can see a screenshot of the web-based GUI. You can see on the left-hand side a number of users on the screen, sorry. What you can do is you can create users. So you can create a traditional kind of local user, or you can import a user using LDAP. And then you can assign them to groups and roles and start. But obviously, the first thing you want to do is start creating a group. I'll show you the group management. So you can see there we've got a number of groups that we've set up. Excuse me. That'll list, we'll see all the groups that are already there. So they're the default groups that have already been set up, the admin, the user, and the operator. But we've also got one in there called Oracle Admin Administrators. So that's a group that we've set up. We can then set up a separate group if we want. So for example, there we've got new test group. You can give the group any name you want. You can tell it what type of group it is. You then select the users that you want to be a member of that group. So it's very straightforward, very easy to do. There's no need, you can do a search if you've got a, if you've got a big list of imported users from LDAP, you can search for them users, you can add them to the group, and then you assign a role to that group. So for example, the role there is Oracle System Admins, and you create them roles as well. Once we've got the role set up, we can go into role management. So again, you can see a list of the default ones. So admin, user, and operator, the default ones, and we've got some extra ones added in there as well. So we've got mail systems admin and UMA protection as well. When we create the roles, we set a name and description again. And then when we want to assign the roles, we give them access to resources. So this could be, for example, a group of machines, as it is in this instance. It could also be, like I said, tape drives. It could be tape backup devices, backup to disk devices, backup to cloud devices, whatever you see fit that you need to add users to. And then once we've created that, we then assign the specific privileges. All very straightforward, pretty easy to do, all just tick boxes. So as you can see there on the screen, you're able to give quite a lot of different access rights for users as well. Okay, so like I said, it's a manual process to turn on RBAC. The command's there in blue. If for any reason, whilst it's being configured, there's any issues, I'll talk about some of the issues you might have, it will automatically roll back. So if you have if you see at the bottom, there's a list of configuration features that it'll use. If any of them fail, if any of them don't work for whatever reason, it will roll back. So there's no problem in terms of rolling back. So some things to be aware of. Once you do turn on RBAC, the traditional cell info, which anyone that used DP in the past will know is a very loved file, is no longer actively used. So you're not able to use the cell info anymore. The any user, which again, from the days when I used to be doing rollouts and implementations, we would be a little bit lazy and we would use the any user. It's not allowed anymore. It needs to be removed. So you'd have to do that. That basically gives, you have the ability to set up any user from any system to access the domain. Something that's not recommended anyway, but when we're setting up new environments, it's always handy to have that in place when you're first setting up an environment. So if that is there and it has been left for any reason with a customer, you need to remove it. And then the other one is the traditional users context. So again, everybody knows this screen from the old MFC days. That will be removed when you move to the new version of RBAC. So again, it's something to make customers aware of. That if they want to do any kind of users admin, you have to do it through the web UI. So like I say, it's a first iteration. It's not a supported feature as yet. It's really to give customers that want to do things like multi-tenancy, the opportunity to maybe set up a test cell manager, add some users, add some clients, have a play, get used to it, so that when it does get released, hopefully in the next version, which will be September time, then they'll know what they're doing. They'll have everything ready in place to set up, and they'll be able to define what they want to do, and make the process much easier for users moving forward. That's quite a big thing for us, is RBAC. It's a nice feature. I've seen it up and running. It's really nice. Yeah, looking forward to more of that in the future. So in terms of platform and integrations, like I say, we've made lots of changes in this release, lots of certifications. Couple of them to call out: Sap Hana Integration. So a lot of our customers use the Sap Hana integration. I think we were one of the first to market with the Sap Hana integration originally. Because we were so quick to market originally, when we spoke to customers, it was always the assumption, or always the kind of feeling that they wanted their HANA administrators to be able to run their backups. Therefore, it was driven from SAP Studio or Cockpit. It was never driven from Data Protector. Since then, things have changed. I think people have become a little bit more savvy. I think they've got a better understanding of SAP HANA, and they're not scared of it anymore. So the feeling now, because there's a lot more of it out there as well, is our customers were asking us to put it into the product itself. So same as traditionally, if you're doing a Microsoft Exchange backup, or SQL, Oracle, a traditional HANA backup, it's now going to be driven by the GUI. So it's a big thing for us. So it's like I said, something that's happened. Restores, which I think I mentioned later, are still driven from the HANA console, from Studio or Cockpit, but the backup is now going into the product itself, into DP. So it's a traditional backup spec. Looks like any other backup spec. You'll see a screenshot, I think, on the next slide, where it's a full and incremental and a Delta backup. You can select databases, logs, catalogs. The great thing about DP is once you've set up a backup in general, if you've done a file system, or you've done a VMware backup or an application backup, once you've kind of set up one backup, it's very easy to set up other backups, because everything looks and feels very similar. As soon as you're talking to an application, for example, once you get that conversation between the two and you can communicate, it's very easy and straightforward to then set up a backup. It's not a massive learning curve. There's a number of application-specific features. You're then able to schedule. You can run the job and monitor jobs all from DP. Like I say, restores still done by Studio or Cockpit, and log backups are automatically done as well by Studio and Cockpit. So as I said, very straightforward looking. Anybody that knows DP from past will know this screen well. You've just got an extra tab there now on the left-hand side for SAP HANA Server. You can see you just go in, you select the HANA node from the list. You then select what raw resources are to be backed up. Like I said, logs are handled in a dedicated spec. So you choose the logs, you choose the backup type, then select HANA specific options. So you can also put a pre and a post exec in there, and that's your log. And there you go, you can see the backup running. So again, just looks like any other DP backup, very straightforward, very easy to do, just something we know our customers have asked for. So there is a couple of things to bear in mind when we move forward, but I'll mention them in a second. Scheduling for the HANA, again, as I said, we're moving more towards this web-based GUI now. So once we do something new, we tend to put it in the web-based GUI. So scheduling is now done through not done through the MFC, it's done through the web-based scheduler. There's an example there. In terms of the HANA side of things, so backup settings for backup data are done automatically, and this includes the catalog backup as well. And then your settings for your log backup as well are done manually. And it's still under HANA control, like I said. So, excuse me. As you can see, this is the backups in the HANA. So they can be done from, just bear with me a second, sorry, just bear with me 1 sec. The machine seems to have just locked. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back now. Yeah, so that's from the HANA side of things. So this is where when you do the restores. Oh, it's done it again. Sorry, the machine keeps locking. Back. There we go. And like I said, so a couple of best practices, things that customers need to be aware of if they are moving. Backup specs need to be recreated. So if they're already doing backups for Sap HANA in Studio, new specs will need to be recreated because they're not compatible with it, obviously, with the old format. And then there's a SAP global.ini that needs to be checked and potentially changed. Details on that, there's a link there, which I think we can share the document after this. So if you do need it, or if you mail me directly, I can send you to a link to the Sap HANA document as well. Another one of our big kind of applications that customers seem to really like is the Postgres SQL integration. We've had this for quite some years now. We've had to change it because of the way Postgres 13 works. So in Postgres 13, I think the next slide shows it, that they've changed the way they do the restore. I'm not very savvy with this. I don't really understand this bit, but basically when you come to do a restore, the behavior's changed, so we needed to change the integration. As a result of changing that integration, we also changed the integration for 11 and 12 as well. So that's a new integration. The old integrations will work fine. If they're moving to 13, then obviously they'd have to use this agent anyway, so they'd have to upgrade to 11.01 if they're using 13, because the older one wouldn't support it. Another change we've made, and another big one for customers, and this is from listening to customers and getting their feedback on the one, is EADR. EADR is Enhanced Automated Disaster Recovery. It's a product that's been, a feature that's been in the product for years now, since version 5, I think it was. It allows you to, traditionally you used to be able to boot off a floppy disk, plug in a floppy disk and rebuild your machine. It's changed quite a lot over the years. You know, we see customers moving to the cloud. You know, there is a big demand for the cloud, but we still have a lot of customers with big mission critical databases, like, for example, that they keep on site. They could be highly clustered, and they want to know that if they need to bring a failed machine back, they can bring it back very, very quickly. You know, and failing, obviously everybody knows about ransomware and snapshots. Snapshots are always the best answer. So to be able to get a good file system backup, you know, if that machine dies completely from a hardware failure and you need to rebuild it on new hardware, you want to bring that machine back as quickly as possible. And that's where EADR comes in. So we've updated platform support, we've added some new features, and we've improved the security as well. So the upgrade we've done is we've released support for Red Hat 7 and 8. We offer UEFI firmware support. We offer the ability to resize partitions. What that does is, if you have, for example, on the little blue thing there, you can see you've got the original partition. If you then put in a new partition that's bigger, traditionally you used to have to use identical. I remember when I used to do it for Windows servers back when I was a backup admin, you had to have identical hardware. Everything had to be exactly the same, including the size of the disks. Nowadays, you can have mismatched hardware. You don't have to have identical disks, and this is the support for the Resize Partition. So we can, you know, if we've got an old machine that dies and we think, you know what, we'll put that onto a bigger disk because we're going to fill that disk up, or it was filling up, you can do that now. It'll just resize the LUN. So you're able to resize the partition and restore the machine. Like I say, you can use a USB stick. You can boot from, if anybody still uses CDs or floppy disks, you could still build from them. Yeah, so it's an automated, put a stick in the machine, switch it on, and DP will rebuild and restore everything on that machine automatically. We've also got support for SLES 12 and 15, and we've added support for UEFI on Windows 22 as well, 2022, sorry. Okay, so data protection deduplication. So I'll take a step back for a second. So in the last version of DP, we've always had, for quite some time, we've had a product called a soda store or a software store, SOS store. It was a backup to disk device that was scalable to around 50 terabytes, 20 terabytes, 50 terabytes, that kind of thing. We had a number of customers that used it, but they always said it was, we needed something bigger. Then we worked really well with store ones. We worked really well with data domain. Coming from our HPE days, obviously we've done a lot of work with store ones. Customers wanted deduplication. The software store that we had at the time wasn't capable of doing deduplication. It wasn't very scalable. It was only really for small remote office backups or small implementations. So we went about, and in version 11, we introduced what's called the DPD store, the Data Protector Deduplication store. It's highly scalable, up to petabytes inside. It's a software-based appliance. This isn't to replace hardware appliances. We know customers still require data domain, store ones, etc., but it gives some flexibility. We introduced it as a direct replacement for our Soda store in the first instance, knowing that we were going to develop it further, and that's where we're at now. We're developing the product more. So it's a dedupe device. You can do dedupe at the client. You can do it at the media server itself, or you can do it on the appliance. So you can choose where you want to do the deduplication. Very easy to set up. If you have a server with some storage allocated to it, you can have one up and running in minutes. Very straightforward, very easy to do. Like I say, when we released it with version 11, it was really just a dedupe store, and it was just to get customers who are using our Soda stores, our software or SOS stores, to get them to move to this new store and give them lots more flexibility. If customers are on our capacity licensing, so we have two types of licensing. We have our traditional model and we have our capacity model. If they're using a capacity model license, which is where we look at the size of a single full backup, this is a no-cost product. There's no cost involved in using this product. If they were using traditional licensing, there may be a requirement for some advanced backup to disk licensing to use a disk-based appliance. But if they already have a software store installed, chances are, because it's a dedupe device, you'll be using less storage. So if they're just doing a direct replacement, again, there's probably no cost involved in there. So that was the first release. Then, so that release was last year. This release, we have now added more capability into the product. So there's quite a lot of capability gone into the product. Things we've added. So we've added support for cloud storage, and I'll talk through that a little bit on the next few slides. Support for three-way NDMP backup targets. So we have it for store ones. You'll see it's something customers ask. We also have it now, and I'll mention this a little later on, we have it now for data domain. We've made some performance improvements to improve backup speeds, and I'll talk about that a little bit. We can use DPD for VMware GRE. So that allows us to back up virtual machines to the DPD device. Then without having to bring the machine back and then look inside for the files, we can just look straight at the backup and read the files from the backup and restore individual files from that. Separation of meta and data, that's just a performance enhancement. Encryption we've introduced in this version, and we've also put in a dedicated port and the ability for you to choose a port to back up to. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility in ports. So quite a lot of changes in the product, and there's even more coming as well. So, this is really a game changer for us. It's like I said, there's still a requirement for customers that need the hardware-based backup appliances, but they can be costly. So this just gives them an alternative. If they've got servers, they can buy a server, buy some disk, and set one of these up very cost effectively. So in terms of cloud storage, we already had, when we released the first version, that you could set it up on a single machine. You could set that up to back up to SATA drives, SSD drives. We've now put in the option that you can set up cloud storage, so you could connect up to AWS S3, Azure Blob, Google Cloud, or any other S3 compatible target. We can use, for the local stuff, we can use different disk and RAID types, really down to what performance you want to see, and obviously what costs is going to be involved as well. So obviously everybody wants the fastest backup they can get, but sometimes that comes at a cost. In terms of the cloud stuff, again, it's pretty straightforward. You can see there a screenshot of when you're setting it up. So you're creating a new store. You can see there we've got an Azure store configured. If we want to add a new one, we select the cloud store, select cloud support. It then brings up a new tab. You can then select which one. So this example is Amazon S3. You put in your access key and your secret key. If a bucket's needed, you can put the bucket in as well, but obviously that's more for the Google Cloud one. So you can see there, you select the bucket, you just put in your keys. Again, very, very straightforward, very quick, very easy to do once you've got a cloud set up. There's the example of the Azure one as well. So you can put containers in there if you need to put a container in there. And you can also select and create a container as well. So yeah, really straightforward, very easy to do. If you've done it with any other backup application, this is very similar and probably almost exactly the same. That gives you a gateway into the cloud. The final example there is S3 Cloud Target. And then you can see that there's a device set up on the right-hand side there. The data is cached locally and then deduplicated before being uploaded into the cloud. So we back it up locally, deduplicate the data, and then push that data deduplicated into the cloud. So again, great option for customers. If you're on capacity licensing, again, there's no cost involved in this. Because if customers have got capacity licensing, they can go ahead and set this up already. They can have a play, obviously, as long as they're on the latest version of DP. So if you have got customers using DP that potentially may need more storage, get them to have a go with this. Like I say, you can use it for local backups. You can just have a server with some disk, or you can now put it into the cloud as well. We also support NDMP three-way, and you can back that up to the cloud as well. So it doesn't have to be local. So again, NDMP traditionally is slow. You know, it's not the fastest backup in the world because of the protocol itself. So we're able to have a NAS system, send that NDMP data to a media server, or that could be a gateway up to the cloud, and then send that data direct to DPD and then into the cloud. You could put the DPD server on the media server as well, so you don't have to have a dedicated media server. It could be the media server itself straight up there, so you could take that path out. But yeah, that's going to deduplicate your data. It's going to give you improved performance when you're backing up NDMP. Like I said, NDMP backups are traditionally quite slow. So this gives you another option in terms of backing up, and you can get that NDMP data straight into the cloud as well. Very good for things like ransomware. So we separated the metadata and the payload data. So metadata is just all the dedupe info. This will speed things up. So what we suggest you do is, if you've got the ability to put the metadata onto a faster drive, so an SSD drive, for example, allocate some SSD drive to your server, put the metadata onto there, and then use some cheaper storage for your payload data. So if you don't do this, it just uses the default anyway. The metadata directory will just be given to the default dedupe data directory anyway. So it's an option. You don't have to use it. It just will improve performance when backing up. So it doesn't need to be a massive amount of disk. But yeah, if you've got that option, it's something to do and it will improve performance. We also, like I mentioned, we've got encryption. Very easy to encrypt. It's literally just a tick box. So if customers want to use the encryption side of things, just click the tick box and the data will be encrypted. And we've also, like I say, we consolidated the network port. However, if customers want to use a dedicated network port, they can do so by ticking the box and then select the dedicated port they want to use. On top of that, we've put in a number of utilities that allows you to now, from the command line, if you've got any problems, you can restart the dedupe stores, you can shut them down. A number of stats can be printed out as well if you need to look at statistics. So quite a lot of big changes from DPD. If anybody's, again, and I appreciate some of the people on the call may not have seen DP for a while, so if there's anything you want to know specifically about DPD, please feel free to reach out. We can give you lots of information. There's lots of slides from the last release of DP that covered the whole DPD store itself. There's probably some quite good videos out there as well that show you about configuring. Like I say, it's very easy and straightforward. So if you've got customers that are using DP, and if you think it's something that may be interested, I would encourage them to move to at least version 11 and have a play at setting this up, especially if they're on the capacity-based licensing. So, like I said, three-way NDMP is a big thing. It's something we kind of needed to close the gap here because it's something that we've been asked for quite a lot of customers for data domain. So, you know, there's not really much to say about it apart from data domain now supports three-way NDMP. We have DPD, like I mentioned already, has three-way support for NDMP. We can do it to data protector file libraries, which are an old kind of file library, which we don't use so much anymore. We've now got it for data domain, and we've had it for quite some time for store ones as well. So it kind of gives us a nice rounded solution there in terms of what we can back up to. Again, very straightforward to set up. If you're wanting to configure it, it's just very similar to setting up anything else. As you can see there, if you can see my screen, there's actually an option now to set up a data domain boost NDMP backup device. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Okay, so some security enhancements. I won't dwell on these. It's really just to get a point across the point. If you have customers that are using an old version of DP, if they're remotely interested in things like ransomware and securing their environment, it's paramount that we get them up to the latest version of DP. I understand there's issues that customers may be using old unsupported versions of operating systems, so it's always a good idea to look at the most recent support matrix, make sure that you know, if they've got old operating systems, see if they're still supported. If not, there are ways around that. But realistically, you know, customers should be using the latest version of the OS as well for security reasons. So yeah, just this is just, you know, every version of DP we release new security enhancements. The only other thing there to mention really is the DP reporting server. So again, if anybody doesn't know DP, we introduced a product called Reporting Server, which again, if you're using capacity, the premium licensing, it's included in the premium licensing. You can buy it if you're on traditional licensing as well, but it's a great product. It's going to get a lot of changes, I think, in the next few releases. There's a lot of good talk coming from that. But yeah, if you've got customers using premium capacity licensing, or you know, capacity licensing in general, get them to have a look at the reporting server. We've just updated the version of Postgres that's been used to match the same as the internal database, because the internal database of DP now uses Postgres as opposed to Rima, which I think we got rid of in version 8. So it's quite a few years ago since we got that. So it's just to bring everything up to date. But yeah, just to call out again, anyone that's not seen reporting server, if it's something that you think you may be interested in, it's web-based GUI. It gives you access to lots of different reports about your backup environment. It's not like the old traditional 35 reports that you used to get from the reporting tab. There's a lot more to it than that, nice bar charts and things like that. And we're asking customers to look at it to give us ideas where we can improve the product as well. You know, what reports are missing. I think there's about 100 reports in there out of the box, but we're looking to expand that as well. And then some other improvements. So I won't go on these because there is a lot of these. So we've upgraded support for Oracle, new versions of Oracle, LTO tape drives, HPE Altera storage, we've Ultrium tape drives. It's there twice actually. Oh, that's on HPUX, sorry. vSphere versions, Sap Hana on Red Hat, support for Postgres 11, 12, and 13 on new versions of Windows and Red Hat. There's even more VMware, more Postgres. So again, have a look at the latest support matrix if you need any details on these. But this is how fast, you know, this is 6 months worth of certification. We're getting quite a lot of certification done very, very quickly now, a lot quicker than we used to. But if you need more information, just have a look on the support matrix, which is on the microfocus.ops site. So I mentioned LTS right at the beginning. So we've changed the way we do releases now. We're doing what we call a long-term support release, which will be, I think it's every year and a half. That will include 3 years of support. In between those two big releases, or each big release, there will be patches, there will be service packed offers if there's any issues. But a customer can put 11.01 on now and run it for the next 3 years with no problem. Traditionally, it would be, well, we'll get you to the next version. We will release feature releases in between each of them. So they're the smaller, lighter blue ones you can see there, which will include new functionality. So things, for example, if we do, you know, we're looking at immutability for the DPD store, once that's there, it'll probably be in the feature release. If we're looking at RBAC, that will probably be in the next feature release. If a customer feels they don't need that, there's no requirement for them to actually move to that version. So as I said before, things like security, if they're using 11.01, if we put on new versions of security, it'll be included in one of the security patches. It'll be a patch for the long-term support version. You don't necessarily have to update to the latest feature version. So it's really down to what a customer needs. They can look at what's coming. You know, you can sit with them and say, look, this is what's coming in the next release. If they think, yeah, that's great, they can put that on. There's no requirement to it. You know, we understand it's a costly affair having to upgrade an environment every 6 months and that downtime while you upgrade the environment. Even though it's fairly straightforward, it's still something that's ideally, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. So it gives customers some flexibility. They can do it if they want, and they can have all the latest features. But if they think they don't need them features, they can just carry on with the version there that's under support already. So it's quite a big change for us, and I think it'll make customers' lives much easier. Okay, so that's it for the 11.01 updates. How are we doing for time? I've got about 20 minutes, I think. I just want to talk a little bit about Data Protector for Cloud Workloads. Now, this is something that's completely new. So this isn't something that's, you know, came out with version 10 or 11. It is brand new. It's a new product. It's released at the same time as 11.01. Again, as Remy mentioned earlier on, it's really, we see customers, you know, I mentioned that we have customers that still have physical systems they want to back up locally, but we see more and more customers go into the cloud. We wanted to be able to offer them that cloud backup solution. So in version 11, we released an Office 365, Microsoft 365 agent for email, for Exchange. But we wanted to get stuff done a lot quicker. So we thought, instead of trying to fit it into DP, what we'd do is we'd create, you know, we've come up with this new product, and this is this. So it sits alongside DP. You'll see how it plugs into DP. So it does plug into DP. It allows you to do, you know, automated backups, the same as DP. It looks and feels similar to DP, especially from the cloud, the web-based side. In terms of what we support, so straight off the mark, this is something that we would have struggled with to get all this into DP straight away. So you can see there's a lot of supported clients. We'll talk about a few of these as we go through, and also cloud targets. There's the dashboard. So you can see the dashboard is very similar to the web-based one we were looking at earlier on. Anybody that uses the web-based stuff in DP will see that this is very familiar, very easy to use. You've got on the left-hand side, you've got your dashboard, which is what we're looking at now, which gives you an overview of everything that's running. One thing to point out, the configuration wizard is very handy. So this product's only been out for, there's not even a month yet. And I've got it up and running, backing up to the cloud, backing up stuff locally. Found it very easy to set up. We'll talk a little bit about the setup and how easy it is to set things up. You can see on the right hand side, there's different areas. So we've got an area for virtual environment, storage, cloud, applications, reporting, the nodes that we set up, and we'll talk about nodes, and then the backup destinations, that's the backup devices, and then management and some settings. So it's very straightforward, very simple to use. Like I said, I just went through the manual, because I was off when we did the training, so I had to go through the manual myself. The manual's really easy. The install script that comes with it is very easy to set up, and I had it up and running on my laptop on a Hyper-V VM within a matter of an hour or two. So when we talk about the environment, we have nodes, which the data is sent to. It's a staging area, and then we send that data off to a backup device. So nodes are very similar to media servers or media agents in DP. We have the backup server, which is, again, comparable to a cell manager. And we can also send data, and we'll talk about this, data direct as a backup device into Data Protector as well. So we can, I'll tell you about how we add that in. It's very straightforward, very easy to do. So we've got that link into Data Protector. So we're putting all our data in one place. So, like I said, we have the node, which is the staging space. So when we want to do a backup, in this example, it's virtualization. The virtualization stuff I'll just mention, Data Protector already has a really good integration for VMware and a good integration for Hyper-V. So that's still within Data Protector. We've not moved that out of Data Protector. This is just for the other virtualization stuff. So if you're backing up with VMware, we still would use DP. There's no requirement for this. So we back up using the staging space. We can then send that to a local disk. So that could just be literally a disk plugged into the back of the node itself. We can send it to the cloud. So again, something very easy to configure, very similar to the way you configure Data Protector, as I showed you before with DPD. You just, as long as you've got the keys and you've got the bucket or the container, you can plug it straight into the cloud. Very straightforward to do. And then the other thing is we've got the Data Protector targets. So I'll talk about how we set up them, but that means we can use tape for long-term storage, or we could use a dedupe store once, but we send it via DP. So, as I mentioned, we've released Exchange Microsoft 365 backup for Data Protector in the last release. What we have done though is we've included it in this. So if anybody is using that, they're able to then still use that with this integration. If they're on capacity licensing and they're using the Exchange 365, they can use that. But on top of that, we've also included, so we've now got Exchange support, we've got SharePoint, OneDrive and Teams. And then the features you can do, you can restore to the cloud or you can store locally, and I'll show you some screenshots of that as well on the next slide. You can synchronize the users. You can do cross-account migration, so you can move mails and files across accounts. You can do a quick search, and obviously it's scalable. In terms of what we can back up, it's the same as any other kind of backup: emails, contacts, calendars, events, sites, files, Teams chats, one-on-one chats, Teams documents, pretty much everything that's in there. Like I say though, it's a separate product to DP. It sits alongside DP, so there is a cost involved for all these features. However, if you have a customer that is using capacity licensing, that was using the Exchange backup, we will include that. That is included as part of the licensing, so they don't have to pay for that feature if they're using it in and want to use this new version of the product. So as you can see here, there's a screenshot again. On the left-hand side, you can see we're in the cloud section. So this is the different instances. So what we're looking at here is a list of email users that you can back up or restore. So on the right-hand side, you can see there's a little, it's quite hard to see, but there's a little box that you can just click on it and back up, or click on it and restore. If we click on the restore section, this is what you see. So you then choose what you want to restore. So again, very straightforward. Very simple to use. Once you've set up these users, I'll just can I go back? Yeah, you can see there you've got the assign policy. So it's the same kind of thing as other backup products. You have a list of users. You assign them users to a policy. You then assign that policy to a schedule. So the policy will include what's backed up, how often it's backed up, where it's backed up to, and the schedule is how often it's backed up. So that's restore. So then if we want to look at the sites, this is SharePoint sites. We can see we've got a number of different sites there that we could, again, back up and restore. You can schedule these to back up on a daily basis or whatever you want to do. It's very straightforward to just select them all. And then finally, we can see the Teams stuff as well. So you can see the Teams things, Team sites in there as well. And again, very straightforward, very easy to do. I had this up and running in probably 10, 15 minutes, and I'd never touched it before. So yeah, just followed the manual. It's really straightforward, really simple. In terms of cloud workloads, so not only does it do the cloud backup stuff, it also does cloud workloads. So OpenShift, there's a number of different features. So backup of metadata and data in persistent volumes. It will automatically pause any running. Oops, sorry, what?
Oops, sorry.
Automatically pause running deployments to ensure you get a consistent backup. And you've got the option to exclude specific persistent volumes as well. In terms of OpenStack, the list goes on really. I'm going to show you the next slide. The list goes on. So the backup of instance, metadata and data on QCOW2 volumes, full and incremental backups. You've got the option to exclude specific volumes and restore individual files, and disk attachment backup strategy using Cinder as well. Okay, so the list goes on and on. So I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll just quickly mention them because this is all the support we have. So we've got support for KVM, Oracle virtual machines, EC2, Nutanix, Citrix Hypervisor. Again, if there's anything more specific you want to see, I'm not going to read through all these because I would just be repeating what's on the screen. If you do want any more specific, please feel free to reach out. We can have a conversation. I can give you more information on all of these, how to configure them, you know, if you want to test them. Again, I'll talk a little bit about licensing in terms of if you guys want to be able to set something up locally to have a play. There is a difference between DP and this in terms of licensing that I need to make you aware of. So if we're setting up hypervisors, so this is just a screenshot of the Hypervisor Manager. So you can see there the different options you've got when you come to, so we're on, if you can see there, we're on the infrastructure scene tab, sorry. We can choose the different managers under the virtual environment tab. And then we've also got new hypervisors as well. So if we want to add a hypervisor itself. So we've got hypervisor managers and hypervisors. In terms of, okay, so this is the DPD. Sorry, this is a plugin into DP. So as I said, you can create a local backup device, very straightforward, again, very easy to do. You can then create a cloud backup device, very similar to what I showed you for the DP side of things, but you can also plug straight into DP. So if we've got a DPD store or a store once or a tape drive that we want to back up to, what we do is we take the OS that the DP for Cloud Workloads server, so that their version of the cell manager is running on. We add that as a client into DP. That's imported, and that's when you're then able to add the DP4CW backup destination, as you can see there, highlighted red with the blue. So once you've added the DP client software to the DPCW server, you're then able to configure this side of things to actually bring in the backup devices. And then you can look and you can browse at what backup device, or you can put in the name of the backup device you want to back up to. And then I think there you go, you can see there that when we do a backup in DP, so we don't run the backup from DP, we run the backup from DP for Cloud Workloads, but in DP, we actually see the data being backed up, and we see that it's got the DP4CW highlighted at the top there. You can see what type of backup it is. So again, very straightforward to do. One thing I will mention, it has to be Linux that the server runs on. In this instance, it doesn't run on Windows. I installed it, again, I installed it using CentOS 8. It was very straightforward. I think a couple of screens down, it goes through the process of installing it. But I found it absolutely breeze. Again, if you follow the manual, it's very, very, I think it's like 2 pages worth of detail that tells you how to install it, and it's very easy to get up and running. Very easy to configure this part as well, just as easy as configuring all the others, as long as you've got the DP cell manager and you can set up the disk agent, the DP disk agent client software, and then it's imported, and then you'll be able to do the handover. Okay, so just mentioned licensing. So as I said before, if the customers are on DP Premium capacity licensing, they will get the Microsoft Exchange 365 licensing included. If they want to use any of the other capabilities, they will have to buy licensing for DP4CW, DP for Cloud Gateways licensing separate. But if they're on capacity and they're just doing Exchange, then they're fine already. They can use the product. If you're on a DP traditional licenses, so this is where you've got a feature-based license. So you buy a disk-based disk drive license, or you buy a advanced backup to disk license, you buy a single cell manager license and online, then you would have to add the Exchange online piece. You would have to have some capacity licensing for the Exchange piece, and then all the other remaining capabilities, you would add the DP for CW capacity licensing as well. Again, it looks a bit confusing, but if there's anything you need help with, that's what we're here to do. We help you with the licensing. We help you figure out what customers need. Just keep in mind, if anyone's using DP Express, which is the virtual only data protector backup license, it's handled in the same way as DP traditional. So if they've got Data Protector Express and they want to do Exchange 365 backup, they'll have to buy the capacity and then the DP for CW capacity license on top if they want to do anything else as well. Okay. So the license is available, and this is what I wanted to mention. When you buy a Data Protector, when you download Data Protector and install it, you get a 90-day evaluation license built in. With DP for Cloud Workloads, you don't. So there's different licenses available. There's a partner eval license, which is probably what you guys want. So if you need any help getting hold of a license, again, come to one of us on this call today. We're more than happy to help you get the licensing. What I will mention is that there was a slide in the DP slide deck, which I took out in the interest of time. There's a subscription-based license there for cloud workloads. So we do two types of license. Traditionally, you know, with DP, it was a perpetual license. You bought the license and you bought an amount of years support. We introduced this subscription-based license for cloud workloads. We're also introducing a subscription-based license for DP as well. So this is where a customer comes along and just says, I want to use the product for 12 months. They don't have to buy the initial license up front. They just work out a term license based on that. So however long they want to buy the license for. Again, if any confusion, we're more than happy to help out with that. It's very new to us, so we're still learning on that side of things. But just keep in mind, there is a subscriptions, you know, or a term license available for DP for cloud workloads. That's also available for DP as well. So you can wrap it all up in one now. Installation. So like I say, it really is very easy. I would say if you've got time and you've got a little bit of time to sit down and download the manual, that's the manual there, DP for Cloud Workloads 5. It's a very straightforward guide, surprisingly easy to use. It seems like a lot to start with, but once you actually look at what you need to install it, it's very straightforward. I downloaded a CentOS 8 image, put that onto a virtual machine, had that up and running in less than an hour. And then if you follow what's on the screen there, there's an install script that you run. If it fails, it tells you why it fails. So again, all very straightforward, very easy to use. There's no messing around. Just set the script running. There's a couple of things when you extract the package, you have to copy some, move the repo to the temp directory. That's about it. I forgot to do that first, and it failed when I did it. Once you've done that bit, it's just straight in. Very, very easy to do. You log in to DP for CW using the fully qualified domain name of your server or the IP address. Very straightforward again. And then, like I said, there is a configuration wizard that's available. And again, I would, if when you first run it, I would have a play with that. Click on the configuration wizard. It asks you what you want to do, and it'll take you through step by step. If you want to set up a backup device, if you want to add a cloud device, whatever you want to do, it makes it so much easier. It can be done manually. There's nothing to stop you doing it manually. The button next to it says, I think, oh no, it's internal DB. There is a manual way of doing it as well from each of the tabs. So it's however you want to play with it. If you want to get your hands mucky and do it manually, then fill your boots kind of thing. It's more than available. And I'll just finish up really just by showing you this screenshot. So this really shows, physical environments. It's data protectors bread and butter. It's what we've done for years. We're very, very good at it. We're probably one of the best in the market, I feel, for doing physical server backup, large enterprise solutions. Virtual environments, we've got some good traditional virtual environment integrations, and I think that now with the cloud workloads piece moving into that as well, we cover all bases. And then for cloud workloads itself, with the new product, it kind of gives us everything we need. So we're really at a place now where, as a product, it can kind of catch all now. I think it's really getting there. And that's it, guys. I've managed to do it with 3 minutes left. So if I went a little bit quick, I apologize. There is a lot to get through, probably, a lot to take in. If there's anything you want any more information on, please feel free to reach out to me. We can share the slides with you. I'm more than happy for my email address to be shared, so you can mail me direct. And with that, I'll pass over to Juan, I think.
Chris?
Yeah,
Chris?
Yes, sorry.
Just sorry, just a question. DP for a cloud workload, is it also available as standalone product? Because on your slides, you just presented it as I would say, an extension of DP. But if somebody wants just to back up, I would say, Office 365 or virtual machines, you could buy DP for CW just like that?
You know what, Bernard? That's a really good question.
Sorry.
No, it's a good question, and I know it's been asked, and it makes sense. Can I get back to you on that one? And I will.
Yeah, because in fact, in one slide you showed also that somewhere it seems to be, I would say, independent from DP. because you have the node which acts as a backup server.
Correct. You're absolutely right. I mean, I've had it running, before I linked it to my DP environment, I had it running on its own, and it will run happily on its own. So it's a good question. It's one I know that other people have asked within our organization. I just need to check the answer, so I will come back to you.
Thanks a lot. And there are people interested in your presentation.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now if I can actually get my mouse. Sorry, my computer keeps locking up. I hope it didn't bother you guys too much, but let me stop sharing. And Juan, it should be over to you now.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, all good.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. Thanks, Chris, for your presentation. The idea is to explain you at high level what we are trying to do with regards to the channel and data protector. So first of all, we want to work together with our partners. Since ever, data protector has been a channel-driven solution. So the idea is that the partner, the sales rep inside the partner, and finally the customers will benefit from this relationship. And the idea is to follow the steps I'm showing here. So first of all, what and with whom, as I mentioned. Our approach is to work with those interested partners in the data protection backup market, because backup solutions have become more and more complex since or during the last years. At the very beginning, 20 years ago, it was quite easy because we used to back up just only 5 systems, very small number of databases, etc. But nowadays, backup solutions are quite complex because they are linked to many different applications, many different devices, sites, etc. Okay, so that's the reason, because we want to work with those partners that have a proactive approach around data protection. And as mentioned a while ago, this is a follow-up of the data protector strategy since HP times, as it has been a channel-driven business. So our strategy, as we have been presenting today, it's quite clear. Inside Micro Focus Data Protector, it's a very important solution. Remy mentioned at the very beginning, it is a product with more than 30 years in the market. So not many products in the market has this kind of experience and expertise. And thanks to this expertise, we are able to provide some of these benefits, nearly 20% of improvement on RTOs, 45% of reduction on time to backup, etc., etc. And something that it's completely different with regards to HP times is that we have created this dedicated team. So Remy, from a sales point of view, or Chris from an engineering point of view, or myself as a partner business manager, are focused on this solution, aligned with other similar solutions or vendors in the market. Okay, in the old times, together with Data Protector, we also carry other products, sometimes related, some others quite independent, like big data, artificial intelligence, etc. Nowadays, we are completely focused on the solution. And last but not least, as I mentioned, for us, the channel, it's quite important. So that's the reason, because we are following enablement sessions, technical certifications, etc. Okay. So said that, let me move ahead. The idea is that you will be certified in order to become a gold partner. If you become a gold partner, you will get the related rebates per the partner program. And we are talking about 15% or 17%, depending if you are a gold or platinum partner. And this is net value licenses. So it's one of the most important partner programs that are in the market, because this is net rebate for you. It's not including discounts, margins, etc. So this is first up with regards to the win-win relationship. On the other side, as I was telling you, we are also interested in develop your services. So we are encouraging you to register for free to the marketplace. And if you have the required skills, you can promote data protector services. So any customer can reach you directly to request your services around data protector for the local market or other markets. So you can also mention what kind of markets are you targeting. Right now, many of the implementations are done in a remote way. So it could be an option to cover additional markets. At the end, the idea is to have local support from our partners, because you know better than us the industry needs. You can become a decision maker. You can find upselling and cross-selling opportunities thanks to your knowledge, to the relationship with the partners, with the customers, and last but not least, increase customer satisfaction. Okay, this is why we want to work with you: the rebates, services, and customer satisfaction. The way to do it is mainly about enablement. So any software is as powerful as the people know it. So for us, providing our partners the enablement tools, it's the most important, and also because it will allow you to implement in the right way the solution. So the enablement path for Data Protector is, first of all, based on the partner program mandatory trainings. There are 2 certifications and 2 technical certifications available at the partner portal to become gold. Okay, and it creates the basics knowledge for you. Then every month we are running technical mainly sessions that later on I will show which are the topics we are discussing. We also have a level 360 pre-sales oriented training that provides from the basics of Data Protector to the most advanced integrations. And last but not least, for those interested partners that have been following this enablement path, we can invite them to the data protection labs training. This is a full week, 5 days, 5 hours per day, where we introduce some specific topics, and then you can work together with the specific labs in order to develop this integration. So some integrations are, for example, data protection, deduplication software functionality that Chris mentioned a while ago, or Oracle integration, SAP integrations, etc. So you have the chance to create a backup and recovery task in these labs. Okay. So first up, it's time to check your certification status. With the required certifications I mentioned before, the sales and technical certifications, you can become a gold partner, and therefore you can get these rebates I was commenting a while ago. These are some of the technical sessions that we have available on demand at the partner portal. Later on, if we share the presentation, you can click directly into the links and go inside the partner portal to access these trainings. There are also some sales enablement trainings available for you, from the basics about how to position the solution to some specific campaigns we were running, like ransomware protection, how to migrate to new versions, etc. And these are the new ones that we are developing for the next months. In April, we have done a couple of them. So one of them was a technical insight series about self-managed migration, and an additional Data Protector 1101 and the 4 cloud workload session that we have done for customers and partners. In May, we will be running a level 200 session for the partners, only for partners. Okay, it will be on May 4th in the afternoon, and in June we will be running a Microsoft 365 data protection integration. The following ones are confirmed, but we don't have yet the links. So I will encourage you to be aware or to take a look onto the latest news about when we will be running. Okay. This is an example about the labs training I mentioned before. So as commented, we provide a lab environment for each of the students. We address one specific topic more or less every day. So deduplication, Oracle integration, Microsoft 365 integration, etc. Okay. We are running one session for EMEA in May, in mid-May, May 16th, and currently it's fully booked. Okay, but the idea is to do the again by maybe in 6 months. The idea is every quarter we will be running one for EMEA and one for Americas. So we've done a month ago the Americas one, and in mid-May we will be running the EMEA one. We are also running proactive communication to our partners. So we used to upload some specific blogs into the Micro Focus IMG community. We are also releasing a monthly newsletter to our channel. And as commented, we are running webinars for partners only or for customers and partners. And last but not least, these sessions like the ones today, trying to provide you updated information, live information about it. Okay. What else do we have in order to develop the business? We have Seed Platform. Seed Platform is a marketing platform that allows you to create specific campaigns, out-of-the-box campaigns that will address specific messages. So if you become a gold partner, you can request access for this tool. And as you can see here, you have email templates, you have collaterals, etc., etc., etc. As I'm telling you, this is out-of-the-box available tool. So with regards to data protector, right now we have ransomware protection, time to upgrade. So if you have customers, data protector customers in previous versions, there are some examples about why to migrate to newer versions, email templates inviting customers to migrate, etc. We have another campaign about deduplication functionalities, talking about the new software deduplication or the integrations we have with HP, StoreOne, or Dell data domain. Mission critical protection. It is quite important for us to talk about it because not all the solutions in the market can do in the same way as we do it, like RMAN integration, plugin tools, etc. Data Protector Premium, it's under development, so we have some material available, but the idea is to have it uploaded into the SIF portal and security topics. If we focus on premium campaign, why to run this campaign? And Remy mentioned somehow at the very beginning, Data Protector has been in the market for more than 30 years. So there are a lot of customers using Data Protector, many of them with previous versions and many of them with not all the required functionalities. In addition, they are managing very complex and costly support contracts because the renewal contract has been increased during the years. And in addition, when they bought additional licenses, it means an additional complexity because typically it means a different contract. Okay, with Data Protector Premium, we propose customers to migrate to capacity, so it's an easier licensing model. But the most important for our customers, and also it's useful for you, is that we can reduce their support cost up to 50%. Okay, and last but not least, as you have seen with Chris' presentation, Data Protector is a solution that could cover all of the customer needs. Okay, and this is a quote from Open report where they are explaining that Data Protector is an enterprise backup solution. So the guiding principles for the Data Protector Premium campaign, first of all, the existing customers using traditional licensing model. Okay, if they need to require an upgrade, then it's a nice moment to talk about new functionalities, about new integrations, etc. And we can propose them to migrate to capacity. They don't need to renew their support contract. It's just a matter of raising your hand and start to develop the approach to the customers. We replace the support contract, the existing support contract, with a new licensing model and 3 years of support. And last but not least, stay updated. we need or we want to keep them in touch with us through you, providing the latest news, latest functionalities, information, etc. Let me provide you an example, couple of examples about the current environment. So customer who bought, let's say, 5 years ago, Data Protector, we can see that they bought, for example, 50K in licenses and another 11K in support, 1 year support. Every year, it's going to happen an increase on the renewal support. Okay, if this is done in HP times, the situation could be even worse. Okay, and instead of paying 13K, we can find that maybe they are paying nearly 30K. And if they bought it even in all times, maybe the increase is about 40K. Okay. With Data Protector Premium, what we are doing is to replace the support cost with a new environment. So if the previous example, with the previous example, we estimate the incoming renewal cost in 3 years, we can see that it's nearly 50K. Okay. With Data Protector Premium, what we are going to do is to, first of all, check which are the customers' requirements with regards capacity protection. So let's say that they need licenses for about 30K and 3 years of support for about 20K. In total, you can see that we are going to provide a proposal for about the same amount of money they were getting just with renewing their existing traditional license. The good point for them is that all functionalities are included because we have migrated customers to a capacity model. Okay, and the renewal cost will start in 6K because this 18K is the total 3 years of support. So instead of paying 17K in the fourth year, they are going to pay 6K. So this is another example about it. Okay, this is what we call cost-neutral exercise. In summary, with Data Protector Premium, what customers is going to be able to achieve is to address new threats. Okay, because with Data Protector Premium, we can deploy a more flexible environment, covering, for example, the 3-to-1 backup rule, because we consider the front-end capacity. So if a customer is replicating the data for high availability in a second data center, for us doesn't care, because we estimate the front-end capacity. Okay, so in order to create high availability, in order to fulfill this 3-to-1 backup rule with Data Protector Premium is much easier and less expensive. It also helps them to improve their processes. If they need to add additional functionalities, it's included in the agreement. While they are in the same amount of capacity, if they need to back up additional databases, if they need to include a new deduplication appliance like a store ones or data domain, doesn't care because it's included in the package. We can focus on what is important. I mean, it's important to protect our systems, our applications. And as I was telling you, it's a solution that includes all the required functionalities for the enterprise environment. So when talking about databases that I was telling you about a while ago, it's important to keep an eye on that. So it's not only a matter of backing up file system or making a VSS integration. No, we can talk directly with Oracle, as I was telling you, with SAP, etc. So that's the most important. And last but not least, complexity of cost. As I was telling you, with Data Protector Premium, we can reduce the complexity of the support contracts that they are managing right now, but also we can reduce the related cost and everything managed with a single solution. A month ago, I've read an article commenting that the customer was using 3 different backup tools. One for their databases, another one for their file systems, and a third one for the virtual environment. So imagine how complex it is to manage this kind of environment. With Data Protector, we can do it all together within a single console backup of databases, backup of file system, and backup of virtual environments. And now, with the addition of Data Protector for cloud workloads, we can add these functionalities to Data Protector Premium. And last but not least, for our partners, if you present Data Protector Premium, on top of registering the opportunity to get a rebate, you can also participate in this competition. You can earn an Amazon voucher if you register the opportunity. Keep in mind that if you renew the support contract, it's only a matter of margin for you. If you propose your customers Data Protector Premium, it's a net new license opportunity deal. So you can register at the partner portal to get the rebate. You can put on top of the rebate your margin. And last but not least, you can participate in this campaign till end of July. So the time is now. Learn more about Data Protector, access the information we have at our Microfocus pages, get a copy of these presentations, and start to talk about Data Protector, Data Protector Premium, and Data Protector for cloud workloads with your customers. Okay. So Bernard, with that, I finished my presentation, I believe on time.
Yes, for 1 minute. You have 1 minute extra if you want. I don't know if there are any questions.
So Bernard, just to answer your question from before, with regards to can you purchase it on its own, DP4CW, yes, you can.
Okay, so it's supported, I would say, and it's okay.
Yes,
it's a good news.
Yeah.
Because it can also be a starting point for people to discover DP.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any questions. I had only one requesting if it was possible to have the presentations afterwards, but I suppose you will send them to me, and we will send that with a link to the replay of this session. So Chris, Juan, I don't know if we may share those presentations.
Yes, there's no problem. I mean, the presentation done by Chris is the one we are presenting for customers, etc. So more than happy to share with you. And the channel strategy, the same. I will send it to you. And as I was telling to the audience, the links are included in the presentation. So if they want to learn more about the training,
they can click.
They can click directly.
Okay. Okay, but I don't see any questions coming, so I don't know if it was too many information or that they just understood everything, or they're not thinking to anything for the moment. So if there is nothing, I suppose we can close up the call. And anyway, if there is any question, they can always reach out to you. Yeah, you said Chris, Juan, Remy, you said you can contact us directly, but maybe add in your presentation your mail addresses.
Okay.
Because there is just the name. There are just your names on the first page, but without mail address. Yeah. Otherwise, people can go through Tech Data. It's not an issue. We will forward the questions. But I mean, if you want to be reachable directly, I would say maybe add your mails.
That's fine. Yeah, no problem.
That's right. No problem at all. I will include in my presentation at the end, Remy, Chris, and myself emails. Okay. So
okay. So there is one who's who page. It's also good.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
fantastic.
So with that, I thank you, all of you, for the presentations and the very good informations we got. And yeah, we keep in touch for the next steps, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much,
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.